Hey y'all, it's Nancy the Handy Scandy. Welcome back for another crafty venture. Today I'm hopping along with the Card Hoppin group yet again for the August 2022 Card Hoppin' Hop. The theme this month is Where I Live, and the techniques we were given to choose from were pigment powders or chalks. So I chose pigment powders. I'm going to use them in a much more controlled manner to make this card that you see on your screen. And I feel like I'm kind of flexing my mixed media muscles, if you will, trying to strengthen my chops. So let's just go ahead and jump into it, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the hop. So you can see that I'm showing you all of my supplies on the screen. These bugs actually become the focal point. I'll tell you about the bugs in a second. We're going to start with the Arteza watercolor paper. I make a 5x7 card. I'm using these oval dies from Whimsy. I'm going to cut out 3 of each of those 2 small stamps. One is called Open Vine, Open Leaves, the other is Vine. Those are the 2 that I settle on. All of these that I'm showing you was just kind of my wide open brain saying I needed to show these guys some love. Ultimately, I use these 2 small stamps as well as a couple others, and we'll talk about them when I get there. But the one that's on the left, the vines, I end up not using it. I wanted to show you my process just because I really like the way they look in the end and the way the pigment powders work with the embossing, and I think it was just really cool. But the other one that I used was called Open Leaves, and I actually cut out 3 of the ovals from that. One is kind of about maybe 2/3 of the oval, and we'll talk about that when I get there too. So here I have my 5x7 panel, and I have this, what is this called? Digital Bubbles stencil by Abs. From All and Create. Most of my supplies today are from All and Create. I just hadn't shown them some love in a long time, and so that was kind of my direction. The modeling paste that I'm using is just called modeling paste. It's nice and thick modeling paste from the Crafters Workshop, and it did exactly what I needed it to do. So once I got all my paste down, and you saw I kind of kept it centered in the middle there, I put my stencil and my tools in the sink to kind of soak, and then I set my panel aside to dry. So here I have my pigment powders. Now in the beginning I only showed you the green one, and it is called Granny Apple Green. The yellow, this one, is Daffodil Delight. Now these are both from Stampin' Up. These are old as the hills. I will try to link to something similar because I wouldn't know how to link to Stampin' Up, and B, I don't think that they have them anymore. But this is what all of my bugs look like. So you saw that I was using the pigment powders essentially as watercolor, right? I kind of tapped them off in little cups of water, and then I gave them kind of an overall wash, and then I used the dry pigments and dipped my wet brush in that to give it a little bit more intensity. And here I'm coming in with just some straight distress stains, and that was Wild Honey, and that actually ended up giving it even more depth to my little buggies. Here are the 2 smaller ovals that I cut out that I end up not using, but I just think that this green pigment is so very pretty. And again, here you see me kind of just tapping out the pigment and picking it up with my wet brush, and look at the intensity that gives to these. So I have just water sprayed on these. They are heat embossed with those beautiful stamps from All and Create. These were designed by Tracy Evans. In fact, most of the stamps not only are from All and Create, but they're designed by Tracy. Not all of them, but most of them. And I will have everything listed and linked downstairs in the description box for your convenience if you're interested. They will be affiliate links, which just means that if you choose to shop using those links, that I may very well earn a small commission based on your purchase, but it will be at no extra cost to you. So I appreciate if you would support my channel in that way. But yeah, let's just get back into it. So you can see the kind of brighter, more Kelly green up there in the corner. And here I'm coming in with, it is Iced Spruce, and it's one of the Distress spray stains. I'm loving my spray stains these days, but spraying them, I lose control. So I'm finding that either I will put it out on my surface just by tapping the end, or I will spray it onto my surface rather than onto my project, because I just lose control. And not that I'm a control freak or that I want to be in control, but I want to have a controlled process, meaning I don't want to allow my pigments to take over like I have in the past. So here you see I'm just using the end of my sprayer nozzle just to lay down the pigment, and it's beautiful. So I have like, it gradiates from the deep dark rich green over to the white, and it did with all 5 of my little ovals. And you'll see in the end why I end up only using the ones that were painted with the ice spruce. But here I am back to my main panel. This is the 5x7 with that beautiful digital bubbles stencil by Abs. And you saw me putting down my pigment powder again in a much more controlled manner than you may have seen me use pigment powders in the past. I'm learning the restraint. It's a slow process for me. It's definitely a venture, but I'm figuring it out, and I have had some beautiful people to model my skills after these days. So I will try to link to some of them downstairs as well. So here you see the different colors, or the different intensities, if you will, in the yellows between the Daffodil Delight pigment powder that you see me sprinkling down there again, as well as the Wild Honey, the stain, the spray stain. So I have a lot of this sped up so fast, guys, because it's ultimately a long video anyway, but I didn't want to leave out my process, or at least not much of it. It's like 2 hours that I have narrowed down to 14 minutes, so you're not going to be able to see everything, of course. Now I decided that I wanted some grungy text, and this stamp set that I'm using here, or the stamp, is from the stamp set called Grunge Hearts, or Grunge Heart, and it is again from Tracy Evans from All in Create. And I put a little bit of this grungy text, and it actually has some images in there too, like some circles, maybe some postage stamp, kind of the marking where they cancel it, as well as some hearts and things and some words. And I just stamped that on everything, on the bugs, on the ovals. You saw me putting it on my background. Kind of used some restraint on that just because it's new to me. And here I have brought in Uncharted Mariner for a couple reasons. One, I love this color, even though I'm not a blue girl, it's gorgeous. And two, I needed that same kind of bold, bright green, because I thought I was still going to use, or I still thought, let me put it that way, that I was going to use those smaller ovals that have that brighter Kelly green. So trying to get all of my colors to marry together, from the panel to the bugs to each of the different ovals. So using that Uncharted Mariner just to add some deep, rich intensity on the corners. So it goes from the blue into the darker green, the lighter green, the yellow, and the white, and the different tones of the yellows. Guys, I'm just in love. Like, this process made my heart so very happy. And of course I had to add some splatter, but I was really happy to add that darker splatter and just leave it at that, because it just added such, I don't know, such beautiful contrast. So here I'm coming in with just the end of my sprayer nozzle again on the iced spruce. And that's only because I know I'm going to use my larger ovals, so I need some more of that more olivey green, well, the iced spruce green, because I wanted them again to marry. So when I put my ovals down, of course the bugs aren't anywhere else, and that particular stamp, that open vine that I have on the ovals, isn't anywhere else either. So I'm marrying all my pieces together by the colors that I'm using, as kind of a color story, if you will. And I'm trying to embrace the white space and allow that to speak, as well as to provide a place for the eye to rest and all those good things. Here I decided that I needed some white, but when I was making this, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't have the stamina to walk across the room to get my white acrylic paint or some white gesso. So I just used my Posca pen and tapped it all out all over my surface. And you know what? It worked. It worked perfectly. Oh, there's my kitty. And so now I'm adding just a few more splatters with the white. And again, I'm showing restraint. I'm kind of proud of myself. I did well. And then I just added a little bit more of that brayered on paint. And I think that that just added some real depth and some interest. Now here I have used the homebody stamp to stamp out that little house, as well as the word home. And that's kind of how I translated the theme. Where I'm from, where I live, home, it all kind of means the same to me. Oh, this kitty is gonna make an appearance through this whole video, I think. So anyway, back to the video. I have stamped home on everything, on the bugs, on everything, and now I'm starting the assembly of the card. So what I need to tell you about these bugs, they were sent to me by my sweet friend Mary Alice. She's one of my subscribers and a good crafty friend, and she sent me those bugs stamped out, die cut, labeled, the whole nine. And I was very thankful, very thankful. She didn't have to do that, but she's just super kind, and we kind of have a similar aesthetic, and she thought that I could use them. And to be honest, I didn't know. I mean, I'm not a bugs kind of girl. But when this theme came up, I was like, oh my gosh. So I live in North Carolina. You know, we've got homes of beautiful beaches, rugged mountain vistas, Appalachia Trail, Kitty Hawk, First in Flight, Biltmore House, Blackbeard the Pirate, Cheerwine, Pepsi Cola, Krispy Kreme, Putt Putt, the home of the 82nd and Fort Bragg, Camp Lejeune, Wilmington, and the whole movie industry, the Civil and Revolutionary Wars. I mean, so many famous military leaders and amazing and heartbreaking history. All those things that I could have chosen, any of them would have made a beautiful card. Any of them would have represented where I live, where I'm from, and my home. But when my neighbor was over and I was talking about the theme, she was like, you know what you have to use? You have to use bugs, because we have so many bugs. That's the one thing everything in North Carolina has in common is these crazy mutant bugs, especially the roaches. You talk about mutant. Oh, and these crazy crickets. Oh, guys, you're just going to have to look into the mutant crickets in North Carolina. I believe actually they're called Child of God crickets, if you can believe that. Check it out. Don't hold me accountable if I've said the wrong thing, but yeah, check it out. So bugs won for my theme. But I love these, and I have to thank Mary Alice for sending these to me. And I was able to use them in a fun way, and actually a very pretty way, if you ask me. And then I have to thank my sweet neighbor, Miss Millie, for giving me the inspiration, and so many other amazing crafters that I've been watching to kind of get my mixed media mojo and kind of stretch those muscles, if you will. And so here is the overall card, and I have so many people to thank. So while we look at these last couple of pictures of the card up close, let me tell you about the hop. So Card Hoppin Group. We are a group of crafters. We're on Card Hoppin is a Facebook group, and it actually originated from the Handmade Happiness group that was started by our sweet friend Courtney Kreber. Courtney has taught us a lot. She's been an amazing mentor, and through that we've built these amazing friendships. And then our sweet leader here on Card Hoppin started this whole, gosh, you know what? She's building a legacy, actually, is what she's doing. She has been leading us. This is our second year now of different themes and techniques every single month. There's a new theme. There's new techniques that we have to choose from. And then we create a project. It doesn't have to be a card. It can be anything we want. Most of us are card makers. So that's kind of what we do. And each month there's something different. So I'm very honored to be hopping along with my sweet friends today. I encourage you guys, if you like my video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not already a member of my crafty tribe, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, especially if you like what you're seeing. There'll be lots more of this to come, lots more Halloween coming in the coming days as well. So yeah, I'd love it if you become a member of my crafty tribe. But even more than that, drop me a comment downstairs, because I'd love to engage with you. But go and see the other people in the hop. Go see what they're doing. What is their inspiration based on where they live, where they're from, what their home is. Go give them some love. See their inspiration. You may very well find your next favorite YouTuber in this hop, guys. Thanks again for spending some time with me. Thank you to my sweet friends in the Card Hoppin, as well as the Handmade Happiness group. Thank you, Miss Jen, and all the wonderful creators that I'm honored to be participating with today. And guys, until next time, this is Nancy, the Handy Scandy. Mwah, and I'm out.